اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما يا فتاح يا عليم افتح لنا فتحا قريبا آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We have started learning the Sifaat al-Huruf, and under the Sifaat al-Huruf, we learned that we have two types of Sifaat, which is Sifaat al-Arida, which is non-permanent characteristics, and Sifaat al-Lazima, which is the permanent characteristics, means these characteristics are always present in the letters. So we will learn the Sifaat al-Arida later on, inshallah ta'ala, but for these sessions, inshallah, we will be learning Sifaat al-Lazima. Sifaat al-Lazima, we understood that we have 17 in total. We have added 2 more because of its importance and application for understanding. Under the Sifaat al-Lazima, we have 10 Sifat, which are in pair with opposite characteristics, and there are 7 others plus 2 more which have no opposites. So on the right side you can see Sifat with opposites. We have already covered the pair of the Sifat Hams and Jahar. In today's session, inshallah ta'ala, we'll be talking about the Shiddah and Rekhawah. In between Shiddah and Rekhawah we have Tawasut, which is also called Bayniyah. Okay, so Shiddah and Rekhawah, these are the opposite Sifat, means if one Sifa has one thing, the other Sifa, which is the opposite to that, would be having exactly the opposite of the first one. So if the Shiddah has strength, the Rekhawah has softness. As you can see, they are opposite to each other. So Shiddah literally means strength, power, force. So we have such letters from the 29 Arabic alphabets. We have such letters which have this quality, the characteristics of being strong. It has force in them. When you pronounce those letters, it comes with certain force and power. In the Tajweed definition, Shiddah means the imprisonment of the flow of the sound due to closing of the makhraj. As a result, the running of the sound is restricted. And we have these letters, Ajidu Qatin Bakat. These letters have the characteristic, the sifa of Shiddah. On the other hand, which is opposite to Shiddah, is Rekhawah. All other letters other than the Ajidu Qatin Bakat, all other letters have Rekhawah in them. Means those letters will be read softly, loosely. Those letters doesn't carry the similar force or strength as the Shiddah letters. So let's see the Tajweed definition for Rekhawah. The sound is freely running through the makhraj as there is a weakness in reliance on the makhraj. So these are the definitions, some explanation of what literally and technically these sifat mean. In between Shiddah and Rekhawah, we have Tawasut, which literally means in between. So the letters of Tawasut are Lin Umar, that has Lam, Noon, Ain, Mim, and Ra. These are the 5 letters which have the characteristic of Shiddah as well as Rekhawah. That means the letters of Tawasut are such where the sound is not completely imprisoned, nor it is freely running. Means it's in between. The sound is partially restricted and partially running due to its makhraj. So let's learn about the Shiddah first, how the letters Ajidu Qatin Bakat have Shiddah in them, and how the sound is trapped behind the makhraj. We'll start with Shiddah letters, which is the Jim first. As you can see, the mechanism of shiddah in the jim is here. The sound is trapped behind the makhraj of the shiddah letter. First, you need to know the makhraj for the shiddah letters. Let's say, for example, the jim. The makhraj for the jim is the middle of the tongue, touching the hard palate. So when you touch the middle part of your tongue with the hard palate, you'll notice that the sound is trapped behind the makhraj, unless and until you separate your tongue from the palate. So this shiddah is more clear when you say it with, when you say this, the jim with the sukoon. For example, id, id, and I'm not separating the middle part of my tongue from the palate, I'm leaving it there. Since that's the makhraj, touching the hard palate with the middle of the tongue. As these arrows are indicating, these arrows are showing actually the traveling of the sound up towards the makhraj, and it's not finding its way out now because the makhraj is closed. The makhraj would be closing and the sound will gather together here. It will be creating a kind of a force in the mouth, and you'll feel some heaviness behind the makhraj. Now, when you separate the tongue from the makhraj, which is the palate, when you separate the middle of the tongue from the palate, for the jim, you will be bouncing it. Means you have to apply the qalqala now. Aj, aj, aj. So two things to remember for the jim. Let the sound travel up and it will get trapped behind the makhraj of the letter, shiddah letter. And when you separate the tongue from its makhraj, as a result, the qalqala, which is the bouncing of the sound for the letter, will be caused. Aj, aj, alam naj'al, alam naj'al. Make sure the qalqala or the bouncing of the letter is loud and clear. For the letters kaf and the ta, kaf and the ta are also the letters of shiddah. It has the same mechanism. You will find, for example, let's say the kaf. The makhraj for the kaf is the back of the tongue, touching the hard and the soft palate, as you can see. When the tongue comes in contact with the palate, the sound will be trapped behind the makhraj. Ak, ak, that's an application of the shiddah. Ak, ak, the sound is imprisoned. Now, when you separate the tongue from the makhraj, from the palate, it's not the qalqala that we will be applying for the kaf, because the kaf is also a letter of hams. It has a hams. Remember, we learned the hams and the jahar. فحثه شخص سكت. So the kaf and the ta, they both are the letters where the hams is applied. So even though these letters are the letters of the shiddah, but because it has a hams as well, so when you separate the tongue from the palate, you will be producing some airflow, which is called hams. So so two sifaat are being applied here for the kaf, which is the shiddah, which is you applying first, blocking the sound, and then when you open the makhraj by separating the tongue from the palate, you'll be producing some air out with some force. Ak, ak, ak. Same mechanism for the ta as well. The ta, look at the makhraj of the ta, which is the tip of the tongue touching the roots of the upper front teeth. The sound is blocked behind the makhraj. When you separate the tip from the upper gums, the front incisors, the hums will be produced. So apply shiddah first, and then apply the hums later. At. That's the mechanism of applying the shiddah for the kaf and the ta. For all the letters of Hamza, Jim, Dal, Qaf, Ta, Ba, Kaf, and the Ta, these are the letters of Shiddah. So as we learned how to see how the Shiddah is applied for the Jim, the same mechanism goes for the Dal, Qaf, Ta, and the Ba. When you separate the tongue from the makhraj, when you separate the tongue, for example, the Dal, which is the tip of the tongue from the upper front incisors, when you separate the organ, the qalqala will be produced. For the qaf, ta, and the ba as well. Aqo, ato, ab. The sound is blocked behind the makhraj, and when you separate it, the qalqala is produced. For the kaf and the ta, we just learned we don't produce the qalqala, we don't apply the qalqala. Instead, we apply the hams for these two letters. For hamza, we have to leave the makhraj closed. When you separate the makhraj, the sound of the hamza is actually produced because the hamza is produced from closing or opening of the vocal cord. A, I, U. Yu'min. So that's the hamza, except for one place in the Quran where the hamza has a tasheel. According to Hafs and Asim, Riwayah Hafs and Asim, we have a tasheel of the hamza in one place in the Quran. Otherwise, you'll see the hamza is having a shiddah in all of other places. So we have these examples of the shiddah letters. We see how we will be applying the shiddah to it, and we need to bounce those letters. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. لا أقسم. So qaf is blocking the free flow of the sound. I need to bounce it. If I don't say with the bouncing of the qaf, the sound will not be heard. It will sound like this. Uqsimu, which is not a normal sound. For the hearer, for the listeners, to hear the sound of the qaf, I need to bounce it quite clearly. Uqsimu bihadha al-balad. When I'm stopping, I'm turning the dal into sakina, so therefore it becomes a qalqala letter. I will bounce. If I don't bounce, the sound will be like this. Bihadha al-balad, balad. So the sound is not heard. It's not audible. The sound stays in the mouth. I need to bounce it. Balad. لا أقسم بهذا البلد الذي أطعمهم. I need to bounce the ta because the makhraj is closed. ألم نجعل له عينين وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا. سب. So the shidda letters are such where the makhraj is closed. So when you open the makhraj, as a result, the sound will be bounced. Yeah, the sound will be bounced, except for the kaf and the ta, where we don't bounce the sound, we actually bring an airflow to it. I hope this is clear for everyone. So these were the examples of the shidda letters. I hope it's clear how the sound is trapped behind the makhraj because of the closing of the opening of the makhraj. Makhraj is closed, two organs of speech, the tongue and the palate, or the tongue and the gums, they come into contact, blocking the free flow of the sound. So we need to separate them. So as a result, qalqala is produced, bouncing happens. That's due to shiddah. Opposite to that is the rekhawah. Let's see how the makhraj is open. The sound can run freely. There is no restriction. There is no obstruction to it. So we have the example, the mechanism for rekhawah in the letter, let's say for example, the sheen. Sound is running through, so the sound is freely running through the makhraj. Let's see, we need to know the makhraj of the letters first, obviously. So the sheen is again from the middle of the tongue, coming close to the hard palate. When you say the sheen with the sukoon, you'll see the sound is continuing. It's not blocked. It's not stopping. So ash, ash. There's a clear passage for the running of the sound from here. The sound travels up and finds its way out. Ash, ash. Had the middle of the tongue touching the hard palate, sheen couldn't have come through. So since we need to keep a gap between the middle of the tongue and the palate, ash, ash, that's rekhawah, that's looseness, because the makhraj is not such where the sound of the letter is relying, or there's a weakness, reliance of the letter on its makhraj. So the makhraj is weak. The sound can run through freely. There's no force, there's no strength in it. If we apply the sifa of Rekhawah on the letters, the sifa is more clear when the letter is sakin. And all the mad letters also have Rekhawah because the sound continues in the Rekhawah. So seen, for example, all those letters which have arrows under them are the letters of Rekhawah because we see this, the sound continues. واستغشوا was, we need to let the scene flow. The sound should continue for a while. The scene has hums as well, so there would be an airflow as well. So the sound continues, the air flows. Was, do not shorten the scene because we need to apply its Rekhawah. In the ghain, we don't have airflow, but the sound will continue because of Rekhawah. واستغشوا ثيابهم وأصروا the calf has shiddah, but it also have the hums. So واستكبروا استكبارا واستغشوا ثيابهم وأصروا واستكبروا استكبارا وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها let the kha have Rekhawah and the sa as well. أثقالها. Be careful with the mushaddad letters because again in the mushaddad letters we have two letters combined into one. The first letter of the shadda is always sakin, the second one has a haraka. So sakin is mutaharik, first one is sakin. So we need to apply the sifat on both of them. So when you connect with the letter, connect and hold it for a while. جابوا الصخرة بالصخرة. Let the sad be heavy and let the Rekhawah and the hums be there. وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين. So we apply the Rekhawah and the hums on Sad because it has these two qualities. We apply the Jahar and Rekhawah on the Bad because Bad is not one of the Fahathahu Shakhsun Sakat letters. It's not hums letter. It has a Jahar. So we apply the Jahar. No airflow with it. And we let the sound continue because it has a Rekhawah. For the Tawasut letters, so what we have covered here, we have covered the Shiddah and Rekhawah, and we've seen with the images and explanation how the sound is blocked here and the sound continues here. In between is the Tawasut. We will now be learning these 5 letters, Lin, Umar, Lam, Nun, Ain, Mim, and Ra, and we'll learn how the sound will be blocked, but it will also be running, and how it happens. Let's see. Lam, Nun, Ain, Mim, and Ra, which is the Tawasut letters. Okay, Tawasut, Bayniya. The Lam first. We'll see it's an incomplete closure of the makhraj. What is the makhraj of the Lam? We see the nearest edges of the tongue. When you say L, that part of the tongue, when it touches the upper internal gums, you will see it's blocking the flow of the sound coming from the normal passage, which is the sound should come from the front, right? L, but because it's blocking the front part of the mouth, now the sound is taking its root from the sides, right and the left, so it's escaping from the side. So even though the makhraj is closed from the front, it's open from the sides, so the sound is escaping from the sides. Here you can see the sound travels up. When it finds the normal opening of the passage is blocked, so it comes out from the sides. When you say L, L, L. You can experience that the sound is coming from the side. So this means the sound is not completely trapped. It's not completely imprisoned, since it can find its way out from the sides. So it's an incomplete flow of the sound or incomplete closure of the makhraj. So partially the sound is trapped and partially it's running. I hope it's clear. We have the noon. Again, the tip of the tongue is touching the upper internal gums. That's the makhraj of the noon. The sound travels up and is blocked behind the makhraj of the noon. Now, the sound is finding its way out from khayshum, which is the nasal cavity. So when a sound that comes from the nasal cavity, it's called ghunna, the nasalization. Therefore, we say that when we produce the noun, when we say pronounce the noon, it also has this sifa of the ghunna, that the sound also comes from the nose. So when we say an, even though the sound doesn't find its way out from the mouth from here, it can come out from the other side, the other passage, which is the nasal cavity. So it's not completely blocked. The sound doesn't stay within the mouth forever. It can easily come out from a different passage, which is the nasal cavity or khayshum. So we will say this is tawasut. It has blocked sound, but it has opening from a different passage. Sound is partially blocked and partially opened. Same mechanism for the meme. When you close your meme, when you close your lips, you produce the meme, meme. But when you say the sound is blocked. So what happens? The sound is finding its way out from khayshum. As a result, the ghunna of the meme will be produced. So the sound is partially closed, partially running. Ra. So the makhraj of the ra is the tip of the tongue touching the upper internal gums. So if you apply the ra correctly, you'll see when you touch the makhraj, the upper internal gums with the tip of your tongue, there needs to be a tiny gap here. As you can see, these sides of the tongue will be touching the upper internal gums, but there would be a tiny gap between the tip and the upper internal gums. Yeah, there would be some tiny gap. The sound actually for the ra comes through this tiny gap. So we will say here, as you can see, the sound is not coming out freely, but it has to come through this narrow passage, tiny gap between the tip and the upper internal gums. So there is some restriction of the free flow of the sound, but it's not completely closed. The sound can still come out from this tiny gap. Ar, ar, ra, ra, ar, ra, ra. So therefore we call it Tawasut. It has Shiddah, blocking of the sound, but it has Rekhawah as well, because still the sound can come out. Ain. Ain is one of the Tawasut letters. So let's come to the makhraj of the Ain first. The makhraj of the Ain is the epiglottis pushed back towards the back wall of your throat. So when you're pushing the epiglottis back, it will be narrowing the throat. What happens? There would be, as a result, some restriction of the free flow of the sound. So the sound would be restricted. It won't come out freely. So we call it like the letter of the Tawasut. When you say the Ain with the Fatha, Kasra and Dhamma, make sure you do not raise the back of the tongue. This epiglottis is located under the root of the tongue, as you can see here. So it helps when you push back the tongue, helping yourself to push the epiglottis. When you push the tongue, epiglottis will be pushed back, helping the epiglottis to push back towards the back wall. But when you do that, make sure do not raise the back of the tongue towards the palate. Otherwise, the sound for the Ain would be heavy. We need to make sure that the Ain is a light letter. The sound should be light. The tongue should stay flat. Ain, a, I, u, ar, a, I, u, a. So again, it's a Tawasut letter. The sound is restricted. It's not freely flowing. It has some restriction. Both the qualities of Shiddah and Rekhawah is applying on it. When you say the ayn in the middle of the word, like ta'lamuna, ya'lamuna, na'budu, make sure you do not read the ayn with some force, like changing it into Hamza Sakina. Some of the learners, what do they do is they jerk on the letter of the Ain Sakina when they're trying to sound it like Na'budu, Na'budu. That's not Ain, that's a Hamza Sakina sound. So we do not apply a complete blockage of the sound. We do not block the sound completely, otherwise the sound will be resembling with the Hamza Sakina. We have to let the Ain flow for a while because of the Rekhawah in it. But it cannot be flow for indefinite time because it has a Shiddah as well. So it's in between. So Na'budu, Na'budu, Ya'lamuna, Ta'lamuna, Dar, Yar, Na'budu, Na'budu. I hope this is clear. Let's apply what we've learned on the Surah Ash-Sharah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك. If you see, the meme has a tawasut. ألم. Let the meme have tawasut. Let the sound come from the nose for a while, but not for too long. Otherwise, the meme will turn into ghunna letter with the shadda. Like alam, it will turn into a letter of a ghunna. So it has a ghunna when it has a meme sukoon, but not too long. Nashrah, let the sheen flow. It has hams and it also has rekhawah. So the sheen would be nashrah, nashrah. The sound flows and the air also comes through. If we shorten it, alam nashrah, nashrah, it's applying a shiddah only. You're ignoring the rekhawah. So give it some timing. The rekhawah with the rekhawah letters with the sukoon has more timing. Okay, you give it more timing. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. I'm applying the shiddah on the dal. Hams and shiddah on the kaf. Rak, sadrak. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ. We have tawasud on the ayn. ضَعْنَا وِزْرَكَ. Zai. It has jahar and it has rekhawah. So I need to make sure the sound is loud and clear because of jahar, and the rekhawah, the sound is running freely. Wizrak. الذي أنقض ظهرك. It has hams. Also it has rekhawah. ظهرك. ورفعنا لك ذكرك. فإن مع العسر يسرا. إن مع العسر يسرا. فإذا فرغت فانصب. وإلى ربك فارغب. ربك, applying the shiddah on the ba, it has mushaddad letter. So ربك, connect and hold and then say it. فارغب, applying tawasut on the ra sakina. Hold it for a while. You have to let the sound continue for rekhawah. فارغب, and bounce the ba. I hope that's clear. We learned the two Sifaat with opposites, the Shiddah and Rekhawah, and in between Tawasut for today. I hope it's clear. For any questions, please do contact me and I'll try my best to explain it. I hope it's clear for everyone, inshallah ta'ala. So we will do the next pair, inshallah, next time. For today, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.